Welcome to Ideas and Reality. The image of the channel is related to a trilogy that Olavo de Carvalho released, and a closer examination reveals the unity of the underlying idea, embodied in the symbol he had printed on the cover, the biblical monsters Behemoth and Leviathan, in William Blake's engraving, the first reigning heavily over the world, the massive power of its belly firmly supported on four legs. The second stirring at the bottom of the waters, defeated and fearsome in its impotent resentment. I didn't use Blake's engraving for its beauty but to indicate that I attribute to these symbols exactly the meaning that Blake attributed to them. This is an important detail because this interpretation is not a poetic allegory, but, as Kathleen Rain pointed out in Blake and Tradition, the rigorous application of Christian symbolism principles. In the Bible, God presents Behemoth to Job, saying, "Behold Behemoth, which I made with thee," Job 40 verse 10. Taking advantage of the ambiguity of the original Hebrew, Blake translates "with thee" as "from thee," indicating the unity of essence between man and monster. Behemoth is both a macrocosmic power and a latent force in the human soul. As for Leviathan, God asks, "Canst thou draw out Leviathan with a hook or his tongue with a cord which thou lettest down?" Job 40 verse 21, making it clear that the force of rebellion is in the tongue, while Behemoth's power, as stated in 40:11, resides in the belly. There could be no greater clarity in the contrast between psychic power and material power. Behemoth is the massive weight of natural necessity, Leviathan is the diabolical subnature, invisible beneath the waters, the psychic world, agitating with its tongue. The meaning that Blake records in these figures is not an interpretation, in the negative sense that Susan Sontag gives to this word. It is, as all good readings of sacred texts should be, the direct translation of universal symbolism. For Blake, although Behemoth represents the set of forces obedient to God, and Leviathan the spirit of negation and rebellion, both are equally monsters, cosmic forces disproportionately superior to man, who wage battle against each other on the world stage but also within the human soul. However, it is not up to man or Behemoth to subdue Leviathan. Only God himself can do that. Christian iconography shows Jesus as the fisherman who pulls Leviathan out of the waters, hooking its tongue. However, when man avoids the inner battle, rejecting the help of Christ, a destructive struggle between nature and antinatural or subnatural rebellious forces is unleashed. The struggle shifts from the spiritual and inner realm to the external stage of history. This is how Blake's engraving, inspired by the biblical narrative, suggests a metaphysical interpretation regarding the origins of wars, revolutions, and catastrophes with the synthetic power of its symbolism. They reflect man's resignation in the face of the call to inner life. By shying away from the spiritual battle that frightens him but that he could win with the help of Jesus Christ, man exposes himself to material dangers on the bloody stage of history. In doing so, he moves from the realm of providence and grace to the realm of fate and destiny, where the appeal for divine assistance no longer has an effect because there, the truth and the error, the right and the wrong, no longer confront each other, but only the blind forces of relentless necessity and impotent rebellion. In the context of recent history, the cycle that begins more or less in the Enlightenment era, these two forces clearly take on the meaning of rigid conservatism and revolutionary hubris. Or, more simply, right and left. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This text was taken from the introduction of a trilogy launched by the philosopher Olavo de Carvalho in the 90s.